Well, anyway, speaking of Hammer Time.
But we don't have the ratings yet for Collision against Survivor Series, do we?
No, those are the holy grail of ratings right now.
Those are coming up, but we do have last week's Dynamite that's finally been revealed to the public. It had to be, these ratings had to be put out in a plain brown wrapper for those of you old enough to remember when you had to order your smut through the mail like God intended it.
How much smut?
All right, go ahead.
Well, hold
I'm
on.
sorry.
Hold on. How much smut did you order through the mail? I know where you were living.
There was a variety of smut that got ordered through the mail back in those days before you had just the unlimited smut machine called the internet. And that's why they sent it to you in a plain brown wrapper. That's how everybody knew when you got a plain brown envelope, you were ordering fucking diddle material.
All right, well, let's talk about Tony Khan's diddling of himself.
As a matter of fact, sometimes when you went to school back in those days, you stuck a plain brown wrapper in with your school book so the other kids would think you were cool.
All right, when I was in second grade, one of the kids came in with these pens that if you turn them upside down, the girl in the bikini, like the ink in the bikini, just like
it goes away.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a vintage one of those from the 50s with it looks like Gypsy Rose Lee, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, this was vintage too, and then the teacher took it and sent him away.
Well, God damn her. She could have, that's worth a lot of money these days.
Well, she wasn't a collector, but of course, Tony Khan is a collector of wrestlers. AEW Dynamite Gym this past week, Wednesday, November 22nd on TBS.
You're laughing already.
I'm having fun. We're having fun. Just like AEW, we're having fun. Everyone should have a good time.
Give me a number.
845,000 viewers on average.
And Jesus, do they have these same people strapped to a chair every week? It's 8:35, it's 8:25, it's 8:45. They're consistent, I'll give them that, but where'd they start and where'd they wind up?
Well, let me make a note here. According to WrestleNomics, this was Dynamite's highest total viewership since October 18th, but in the key demo, 18 to 49, viewership was the lowest since October 25th.
Okay, so they're running off they're running off Uncle Dave's group. The young kids and children, the 18 to 49ers, the hip cats that swing and groove and jive.
Paint their hair red.
Paint their hair different colors. It doesn't have to be red. It could be one color one day and one color the next day.
Well, Jim, let's go to the ratings right now. These were compiled by Wrestle.
Sometime when the light catches it looks like a kaleidoscope. She's like a rainbow. Oh, the colors of her hair, they're everywhere.
Oh.
It's like an old woman suddenly decided to look younger.
Well, let's see if Tony Khan came in colors this week. Quarter one.
That's because when he ejaculated, he blew a blood vessel.
Once again, these were compiled by WrestleNomics.
Oh, they were?
Quarter one, 8 to 8:15 p.m. Once again, November 22nd on TBS. Jay Lethal versus Swerve Strickland with picture-in-picture, 971,000 viewers.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph riding a camel. If they started there, the big bangers are coming back around. The big bang must be doing a heck of a number, but they started there and their average is 845. We are about to, is this going to be a slalom? Is it going to plummet straight down or are we taking any twists and turns first?
We shall find out. Here's quarter two, 8:15, 8:30 p.m. The continuation of Lethal versus Strickland. The Wheeler Yuta confrontation with Orange Cassidy, Hook, and Shibata.
Shibata.
The man whose brain returned. Also, MJF and Adam Cole begin their confrontation with Samoa Joe.
How did it find its way back, I wonder, on its own?
They removed it, I guess. Well, they had to remove it from the cord. But anyway.
So somebody was still in charge of it. They didn't just leave it to wander around.
948,000 viewers.
Okay, that is a shocking surprise because one would have thought that they would have lost about 100,000 of those right off the bat.
And let me just say, that's also the high point in the key demo, 382,000 viewers. And I think that may be the Swerve Strickland effect.
And again, they never keep a large number like that through the second quarter when they get it handed to them. They always plummet. So bravo, Swervo.
Well, let's go to quarter three. No more Swervo, as we're now calling him.
Swervo is done now.
Well, let's go from Swervo to Swirly, the continuation of the MJF Adam Cole Samoa Joe live promo.
Ooh, boy.
An ad break. Jake Hager, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker versus Hook. Shibata, the man with the returned brain. And Orange Cassidy with picture-in-picture ads. 862,000 viewers.
Okay, again, I have to be completely honest. I would have thought that after MJF and Cole, they would have lost more than that. Maybe we're starting to see that erosion. But again, with 971, 948, and 862, and an average of 845, it sounds like that's entertainment is headed toward the end of the program. Go ahead.
Well, speaking of 8:45, quarter four, 8:45 to 9 p.m., the continuation of the six-man tag match that I'm not going to name all the participants of again.
Yeah.
The Cole Roddy Strong Kingdom backstage angle, an ad break, and the beginning of the Christian Cage ceremony, or live promo, whatever it was. 859,000 viewers.
Okay. Apparently, now what's coming up is either a plague of locusts or a goddamn existential crisis like an asteroid hitting the Earth.
Well, there was a big asteroid that night.
I can't believe they're this far up in that first hour.
Well, quarter five, the big 9 o'clock hour, 9 to 9:15 p.m. The continuation of Christian Cage's promo with Nick Wayne, Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne's mom, and eventually Adam Copeland. And then the Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, Jake Hager, Anna Jay backstage angle leading into Roosh versus Jay White. 920,000 viewers.
Wait, what? Okay. Massive power failure on the East Coast is coming up. I don't know how in the world they gained for that, but this ain't adding up. Where we go? Three more quarter hours. What the hell is going on here?
End an overrun. Quarter six, Jim, 9:15 to 9:30 p.m. The continuation of Roosh versus Jay White with picture-in-picture ads and then an ad break. 799,000 viewers.
Oh, okay. So 121,000 people all of a sudden said, fuck Jay White and Rush. I mean, but still they've still got 800,000 people watching this rotten program. And the first 5 quarters were better than they had any right to be. So if they can keep around 800,000, but I'm still having a problem doing this math. Where are they going from here?
They're going to quarter 7, I believe. 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. The Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Chris Jericho backstage angle. The Tony Storm ceremony, whatever that was. And then the beginning of Ruby Soho versus Anna Jay versus Sky Blue. With picture-in-picture ads. I don't mean to laugh. But what do you expect here? 746,000 viewers.
Oh, okay. Well, again, this is not as bad as I had contemplated it would be because they only lost another 53,000. That brings it to 100 and... Wait a minute, I can't do that much math in my head. 174,000 people left in a half an hour. They've done that before.
Once again, we have an overrun here, but quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m. the continuation of Ruby Soho versus Anna Jay versus Sky Blue, and the post-match, the Wardlow AR Fox backstage confrontation.
I forgot to watch that, by the way.
And then the beginning of Mark Briscoe versus Jon Moxley with picture-in-picture ads. 733,000 viewers.
The Moxley effect.
7-minute overrun, Jim. 10 to 10:07 p.m. Mark Briscoe versus Jon Moxley.
Now, hold on. Now, the overrun is always higher than the last quarter of their show because it's people tuning in to watch the program they think is coming on at that point in time. And generally, that's, a larger number, apparently. So this should be larger, I guess, right?
Well, again, it's a 7-minute overrun. 688,000 viewers.
Oh, Jesus Christ. 45,000 more people said fuck Moxley, their main event guy, their big time tough guy that drinks bones and eats blood. Woo! So, now get your calculator out there, Brian.
Oh, don't start this again. Come on.
Well, if they started with 971,000 and they ended up with 688,000, that is a loss of 283,000 people. And what's 283 times 4? 283 times 4.
3 million.
No, it's goddamn not.
No. 1,132.
1,132. So that would be 1,100,000. So they lost somewhere around 22% or so or thereabouts of their original audience, I guess. I don't know how to do that math, but Gee-many, again, what other program does this? What SmackDown doesn't do it. Raw loses that many people, but not that percentage because they're starting with so many more, and it's 3 hours. It goes to 11 o'clock at night. But and we've talked about in days gone by, back when wrestling was supposed to be so boring, according to these people, the main event, the last match, gained viewers, didn't lose. You gained more. You ended up with more than you started with. And that was Raw in the Attitude Era. Blah, blah, blah. And now, this was a gift that they got the first 5 quarters they got until people said, well, fuck, is this what's going to be the rest of the night? Good Lord.
You know what the saddest thing is? I mean, it's all self-induced. It's all Tony's own fault. Tony thought he knew better than everyone. I can't see anything right now to fix all this. Because of the problem being where, it's at the top.
Well, and remember, I said that, and J.J. Dillon wrote about this when he wrote his book and said that he was, privy to the fact that Flair and the Horsemen asked him to go because he was also working as Dusty's assistant booker, but he was their manager. He was in the office. He was experienced. Go to Jimmy Crockett and basically say, we think we need to win more. We need to get more heat because if we lose this thing, it's harder to get back than it is to maintain it. And I said, that's with wrestling. It's harder to get something back once you've lost it than it is to maintain it, and the more you hot shot, or the more in Tony's case, you just go, I can't call this hot shotting. I don't know what it is. Weird shotting. You're just losing more of it and losing more of it. And it's not easy to get it back. Sometimes you don't. And this may be his point at this juncture. We know the audience that will watch for free is what this is, and it hasn't grown. It's shrunk somewhat slightly since the start. They're selling fewer tickets. I don't know what kind of pay-per-view attraction they've got, but sooner or later, these people are going to, how many times can we spend $50? But the who's he got to sign? Who's he got to get? He just signed Edge, and we're talking about the end of the fucking end times of the company. He signs Edge, and they debut or re-debut Orton and Punk in the same night, and and we're trending talking about something the guy that he fired did that got tons more attention than us talking about it.
I just can't get over how long people ignored what we said because you were funny or said things they didn't like about wrestlers they love. And the excuses were the video game's going to save the company, or the company's worth $1 billion, or Tony's going to be able to get a television rights deal that's going to be so astronomical, it'll make it all worth it, or they're going to beat Raw in the ratings. And it was not a quick thing, but if you were paying attention objectively, you saw this all happening. And now we're at this point where we're questioning, how could they save their company? It's going to exist. I don't mean to like save it from going out of business. Unless Tony's dad says enough, and I don't think he's going to right now, this is going to keep going. Even if it's on, some online platform because they lose their television deal. It's going to keep going.
It's going to keep going. The direction is yet to be determined.
But I don't know. It's AEW is such a disappointment because of that, because of what, you said it early on, and I think it becomes more and more apparent as time goes on. It was the opportunity. This was the opportunity. We may never get it again. God bless Tony Khan. He was the wrong person to be in charge of this.
Yeah, he was the right person to pay for it and the absolute wrong person to give the fucking keys to and let him drive. And, that's why I didn't take it seriously from the start. Because I heard him talk to me and I listened to the words he said. I said, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and he doesn't realize it. And $100 million apparently will buy you a lot of fucking smoke and mirrors. But at some point, when everything starts falling apart because you haven't put any fucking curbs or guardrails on it, and you don't know how you got there really anyway, and it was kind of haphazard to begin with, and now, shit, how do I get out of all this mess? And meanwhile, the Uranus Corporation over there that's worth tens of billions of dollars is just pummeling you with stars and fucking professionalism.
That's one of the things too. We've gone through a lot of audio recently. Jace Nakarado, or Jay Sharknado, as he's known incognito, has especially just for Omnibus
Where is
season.
Cognito and how often is he there?
It's in Ontario. And he's been going through a lot of the stuff for Omnibus season. So many of the things we both said in the early days. I thought what was going to do AEW was, without even knowing too much about what Tony Khan was going to do, so rich kid being given unlimited funds, there's no serious management in place. And look at the problems that have happened since. But a lot of people wanted to turn the other way. They wanted to will Tony to success. They wanted to will their favorite wrestlers to getting American time to work their favorite style of matches. No one's happy now. Even the AEW fans are now split. No one's happy now. And how do we end this show on a happy note? Some kind of
it's my show. So the way, here's the thing. Here's who's happy. Punk is happy. Instead of being on a show on Saturday night that didn't get as many viewers as our clip talking about what he did on Saturday Night got, he's getting millions and millions of YouTube views for walking out and waving to people. And that's when he does something, people talk about it. And then people talk about the people that are talking about it. And they're goddamn going back and forth. Everything Triple H said, he gets attention. He makes people talk. He starts conversations. He creates debates. And that's what you want. If you're in goddamn any type of professional sport or entertainment business where you sell tickets or get people to watch television. And that's what Tony couldn't figure out, is he finally got one of them things, one of them ratings people that he always wanted, and he couldn't see that his fucking hand-chosen EVPs that he had fallen for because he had fallen into that bubble didn't want the guy around because he showed him up. And so they fucked with him and pushed his buttons, and he's not a person that likes that. And then created all the gaga. And then Tony was so afraid of a confrontation of any kind where he has to be the boss and somebody might not be his friend because he's mean to him. He let it go completely out of control. And then finally, when the guy, Punk, said, fuck you, I'm going to front face lock the Jungle Jack off, and yelled at Tony, his little romper room contingent won. See, you got to get rid of him. So he fires him, keeps the rest of them. And now you've got one guy suspended, Jack Perry. He's not even on the television, and nobody gives a fuck if he comes back. The two other EVPs that got in the original dressing room dust up are so not over now, and people are so bored with them that they're having to take time away and come back with a new gimmick and a faction because nobody gives a shit. And all of their friends still have jobs where we have to look at them on television just because they went to school with the Buckaroos, and they do no ratings. This is what Tony got, and this is the people that Tony was telling me that he was going to be in business with when I talked to him in 2018. And I knew this day would come. I just didn't realize how long $100 million would bluff you.